looking at really in the kitchen's statement. Cooking show, I like to have a guest on, but I need a camera crew to move with us as we cook, but it's difficult because of cost. That's an example of overcomplicating the show. You do not need to have a camera crew. You can have two people. You only need one camera. You only need this. That show that you're describing that you can't do because you need a camera crew, I would be able to do that with a phone. Put this phone on a tripod, frame it up. Two people, that's more than enough room for two people. It's not like y'all running around the playground. You standing in the kitchen. You don't need camera movement. That's advanced level stuff that you may never need. The camera does not need to move. Not for one person, not for two people. And trying to start there, that's like trying to start riding a bike by popping a wheelie. You got to learn how to just keep your balance and not fall off. You know, wheelies is something for down the road. So I'm pointing this out as an example to everyone of how what I see all the time with the chefs who come to me with these ideas, like you trying to do some advanced level stuff, you can't start there. Look at what you're able to do in the kitchen right now, the level of dishes that you're able to prepare, and then think back to when you first entered the kitchen. You were not able to do then what you're able to do now. And if you tried to start out with these advanced level dishes that you're able to prepare, you would never have gotten anywhere. So just keep it simple, man. One camera, your phone for most people, put it on a tripod. If you want to have a guest, you can have a guest and do a fantastic cooking show and not have any camera movement. Because now when you're talking about camera movement, as they put, now you got to hire a crew, somebody else. So now what have you done? You went from what you could do, put your phone on the tripod and have your show with two people, which you're fully capable of doing, and you turned it into something that you can't do because now you got to hire somebody, which means you got to identify some good people first, and then they're going to cost you money that you may or may not have. And so now it went from something that you can do this weekend to something that, well, how am I ever going to be able to do that? And good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lindsey Ruffin, cooking show advisor, and I host these live sessions to find the people who are serious about accomplishing something with a cooking show and to simplify this so that you can start making progress. What I've observed in my work is that most chefs who want a cooking show have complicated it in their minds to the point that they can't even get started. And it's really not that much to it. And that's why I'm hosting these live sessions. If you believe you can create a better life for yourself with a cooking show, or expand your business and take it to the next level, or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, you think you can use a cooking show to do it, that's what I can help you do. And that's why I hope to host these live sessions. So what I like to do is determine what it is you're trying to accomplish. Start from there. What's the destination that you have in mind? And then help you figure out how to get there. So what I ask for everybody is, why do you want a cooking show? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What are you trying to use a cooking show to achieve? Share that in the chat, and then we can start from there. And I want to make it clear to folks that I host these live sessions because I'm trying to help you. This is an interactive thing, so you have to participate. If you don't, this is going to be real quick, real short session, because if nobody wants any help, then I'm going to just refer you to my YouTube channel where you can, because a lot of people just tune in because they just want to listen and learn. Well, if you want to do that, you can go to my YouTube channel. I'll put that up if you just want to listen and learn. But when I come on live, it's because I'm expecting folks to participate live. So please share in the chat what it is that you want to accomplish with your cooking show. Cousin Don wants a cooking show to educate your community about cooking and making healthy decisions about food. Excellent. We have a global public health crisis because of food, specifically ultra-processed food. So there's a huge opportunity for people who want to take on the job of educating, being food educators, teaching people how to eat healthy Stroke is the fourth leading cause of death in the United States, and 80% of strokes are preventable through dietary changes, according to the CDC. So everybody knows somebody or knows a family where somebody has had a stroke, and you understand the impact of that. It doesn't just affect the person, it affects everybody around them, because everybody around them becomes a caregiver now. 'Cause stroke just really takes you out of your ability to take care of yourself. So if you want to educate people about healthy eating, that's an excellent reason to start a cooking show, and you can make a lot of money doing it. So my question to you is, have you recorded a single episode of your cooking show, even just a practice video? Have you recorded yourself in the kitchen cooking anything? So same question to everybody. What is your objective with the cooking show? What are you trying to accomplish? Why do you want this cooking show? We're going to start from there. All right. So Cousin Don, is this a full-length cooking video? So let me define something here. When I'm talking about a cooking show, I'm talking about a full-length cooking show episode, like the kind of cooking shows you grew up watching on PBS. Horizontally recorded, and you're going start to finish. I'm not talking about reels and TikToks and everything like that. I'm talking about where you're taking somebody from start to finish through preparing this dish, and it's horizontally recorded. Because that's what this is about for me. What I want you guys to understand, a lot of people don't realize, is that YouTube is the number one TV streaming platform in U.S. households. That means if you have a cooking show on YouTube, you have a cooking show on TV. I'm going to put this chart up. The Instagram folks are not going to be able to see it, but if I got folks on YouTube or other platforms, they'll be able to see it. So that red line at the top, if you're on Instagram, that red line at the top is YouTube. And 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth line down is Netflix. Let me see. Which part of this can you see on? Yeah, you can see on Instagram, you can see where it's 3.5%, 6.7%, 7%. The one above 7% is 7.9%. That's Netflix. And then the one at the very top, the red line at the very top, that is YouTube at 12%. And this is the TV streaming platforms in U.S. households. YouTube is number one. So if you've ever dreamed of being on Top Chef or Master Chef or Food Network or any of these other kind of programs, just understand that if you have a YouTube cooking channel, you're putting yourself on TV. It's the same thing. People are flipping channels, going from Bravo for Top Chef to Food Network to whatever. YouTube is just another channel that people are flipping through on their TV these days. So what I'm talking about is creating horizontal videos, full-length videos that people are going to sit down and watch on their television. So cousin Don says, no, you haven't done that. Okay, then yeah, that's what we're talking about here. And all you need to do this is your phone. Put your phone on a tripod, horizontal. We're not doing this. We're making videos for TV. Put your phone on a tripod and take people start to finish through creating whatever dish you want to teach them. And then you got to do it again next week, and you got to do it again next week. Success with a cooking show means publishing 50 episodes a year. Let's say that again so you understand. Success with a cooking show means publishing 50 episodes per year. So if you're really trying to accomplish something with this, then that's what we're talking about. And to do that, you're going to have to incorporate some new habits into your life. A cooking show is going to have to become a part of your life in a way that requires you to develop some additional habits. Some of y'all may be familiar with this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a bestseller for good reason. It's a fantastic book that teaches you the science behind habits and how to translate it into your life so that you can take daily actions that will move you towards what you want to accomplish. And whatever goal you have in mind for your cooking show, that's why I always ask, and I'm still asking for all my folks here on Instagram, What is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish with this cooking show? Go ahead and share that in the chat. And whatever that is, you got to develop habits that are going to move you towards that on a daily basis. And to be successful with the cooking show, you're going to have to develop habits because, again, success with a cooking show is 50 episodes a year. You're not going to accidentally or haphazardly work your way to 50 episodes a year. You're going to have to develop some systems and some processes in your life that are going to result in you producing that episode every single week. And that's when it becomes possible for everything that you want to happen. Many people come to me. The number one reason folks come to me for a cooking show is they want to create a work from home business, which is absolutely achievable. But that means 50 episodes a year. And that means to get to 50, you got to start with one. Many people are sitting on a goose egg, having never made that first episode. And I want to get you to do that. You got to record that first video. All you need is your smartphone. Don't worry about anything really, because we're just recording a video. You don't have to publish this. Nobody has to see it. It can just be on your phone for you to review it and learn what you need to learn and then make the next one better. But a cooking show, bottom line, is you standing in front of a camera and teaching people how to cook something. So many chefs come to me and they try to complicate it and make it something to more than what it is. No, it's not this, it's not that. You don't need a special camera. You don't need this. You don't need anything. You got to stand in front of your phone, if that's the camera that you have, and teach people how to cook something. And until you do that, any other questions you have really are irrelevant because you haven't done the thing. Like you got to stand in front of a camera and teach people how to cook something. So I want to be clear on that. Let's see what else we got here. 50 meals in 50 days. That's ambitious. You can try that. I tell my folks one a week because that's manageable. You know, we're all adults. Everybody's got a life. You got stuff to deal with. 50 in 50 days. That's a bit ambitious, man. You can set yourself up for failure, you know, trying to do something like that. But if that's what you want to do, go ahead. But if I'm looking at cousin Don. Yeah, if you cooking every day, and that is something that I tell folks. You already in the kitchen every day doing something. So if you incorporate a camera into that, sometimes that's all we're talking about. And if you want to do that every day, absolutely go for it. So if you're already doing it, go for it, chef. I ain't telling you not to do it. I'm just letting you know that that's going to be a challenge, but that's a good challenge. If you want to take that on for yourself, go ahead and do it. Rest of the folks in here, what are you trying to accomplish with a cooking show? I know a lot of people tune in just to listen. I encourage you to participate when I do a live session because I'm trying to help you. If you just want to listen, what I would recommend is that you go to my YouTube channel. Just put my handle up there. There's tons of videos on there where I'm teaching you various aspects of a cooking show and what you can do with it, what you can achieve with it, how you can go about it. So if you came here to listen, just listen and not actually participate, I would recommend that you go check out my YouTube channel. And also because when I do these live streams, I do it on Instagram because this is where many chefs are. And I'm trying to encourage you guys to start embracing YouTube because that's where there's a much greater opportunity for you as a chef. Everybody's on Instagram posting reels and pictures of food. Very few chefs are on YouTube delivering full-length videos. So just by doing that, you've separated yourself from a ton of competition. And when you do this, the more work you're willing to do, because making a full-length video is obviously more work than posting a reel, the more work you're willing to do, the less competition that you have. You put yourself into a room where there's far less competition and far greater opportunities, much bigger opportunities and many more of them. And a lot of you are fighting for attention on Instagram When if you just go to YouTube and do a full-length cooking show, run a channel where you're posting full-length cooking videos, you'll find that there's a lot less competition and you're able to create bigger opportunities for yourself because you can tell people, hey, check out my cooking show. Watch it on TV, man. It's you're gonna really enjoy the experience. I'm having a great time helping my audience. We're all having a great time. It's just my cooking show is a party. It's not like what you see on regular cooking shows. You got to check mine out and watch it on your TV. As a chef on YouTube, you're able to say that. As a chef on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, you're not able to tell people to pull you up on their television. Really in the kitchen wants to build a community around being authentic to being in the kitchen. What does that mean? Cousin Don wants to take young men to the grocery store and teach them how to shop in grocery stores and how to take food stamps and turn that into cash money. Yeah, I don't know about that last part, but definitely teaching people how to shop. Teach people how to build a pantry, which is a lost skill. Building a real pantry in your home with real ingredients, not ultra processed food, not boxes of something filled with sugar and chemicals, but basic ingredients, beans, rice, spices, lentils, a variety of different items that you stock in a pantry so that you have base ingredients so that you can cook at home. You can prepare your favorite meals at home. It's actually faster and cheaper than going out or calling DoorDash or whatever. But yeah, teaching people how to shop, how to create a pantry so that you always have food at home and you can prepare healthy meals. That's absolutely something that you can do with a cooking show. An excellent use for that. Really in the kitchen is trying to find their way. Yeah. It's your channel. Explore it. That's what the beauty of YouTube and the beauty of having your own cooking show. You don't have to have it all figured out immediately up front. And really, no matter what you start with, it's going to change. It's going to change over time. What you think you wanted to do is going to change and you'll be doing something different. And the only way you figure it out is by starting that journey and continuing on it. You got to get started. So many folks try to figure everything out before they get started and then they can't start because it doesn't work like that. You get started and then you figure it out. All right, y'all. Like I said, I'm here to help you, but you need to participate. So if nobody has anything else, I'm going to wrap this up. Again, for the folks who joined after we started, the reason I host these live sessions is to identify the chefs who are serious about accomplishing something with a cooking show and you want help. A cooking show is a fantastic resource for a chef. What I'm talking about is a full-length cooking show on YouTube. YouTube is the #1 TV streaming platform in U.S. households. So a chef with a cooking show on YouTube is a chef with a cooking show on TV. More people are watching YouTube on their big screen television than they are Netflix. YouTube is the big boy on the block in terms of TV streaming in the United States. So if you have a cooking show on YouTube, that's the same as being on the Food Network or Top Chef or whatever. The difference is you actually own it and you can do whatever you want. That's the opportunity that hosting a cooking show on YouTube presents. And that's what I help chefs do. Yeah, so really what made me want to mentor others that want to start a cooking show, that's how's that helping you get where you're trying to go? Really in the kitchen. The reason why I keep these meetings very focused is because whatever it is you're trying to accomplish with a cooking show, it's about you standing in front of a camera and cooking and doing that every single week. So until you're doing that, nothing else matters. I have my reasons for doing this. I just kind of, it's actually a long story. I just kind of ended up doing this after years of doing some other, it's really a long story. But as far as you getting what you're trying to accomplish done with the cooking show, my story really doesn't matter or help you with that. What you got to do is stand in front of a camera and start making videos. And that's what I try to convey to chefs is stop worrying about all this other stuff. If you want to have a cooking show and you're trying to accomplish something with your cooking show, you got to stand in front of a camera and start teaching people how to cook. Do that. Just do that. Focus on doing that. And once you've done that, then these other things can become relevant. But otherwise, you just daydreaming. Like just focus on what you got to do. Get in your kitchen with a camera, make a video, and do it again next week, and do it again next week. That's how you get your cooking show started. That's how you accomplish whatever it is you're trying to accomplish with your cooking show. Too many people get stuck with a million questions that lead nowhere. A cooking show is you standing in front of a camera and cooking. So focus on doing that, not what camera should you get and 1,000 other questions that I get from folks. Focus on standing in front of a camera and making that video where you teach people how to prepare a dish and then doing it again and then doing it again. That's where your success with the cooking show will come from. And you got to get started. One of the questions that a lot of people have is about making money, the revenue. So many different ways to make money with a cooking show. None of them are available to you until you've published at least 10 consecutive weeks of videos. So that's publishing a video a week, every week for 10 plus weeks. You got to get to 10 weeks at a minimum before you can think about any kind of monetization. So that's why I focus people on like, look, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish generally is going to involve making some money in some kind of way. You got to start making videos. You got to start putting these videos out. That is your task. Don't worry about anything else. Focus on putting out a video once a week and making it to 10 videos, because 99% of people never going to get there. Anybody can do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or do a video here and there. But when we're talking about 10 weeks, 10 consecutive videos, if I start with 100 chefs, I'll be lucky if I got one who made it to 10 weeks, 10 weeks straight. And that's what I'm talking about when I say if you're willing to do the work, there's going to be no competition there. People just not going to be able to do the work. They're going to say, well, life came up and this happened and that happened and blah, 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 blah. If you can be focused and disciplined and publish 10 videos, 10 weeks straight, 1 video a week for 10 weeks straight, you're in a room with no competition in it. And there just becomes even more true. There's less and less competition with each subsequent week. That's how you win at this game. It's not about being the best chef. It's not about having the best recipes. It's not about having the best camera. It's not about having the best kitchen. It is the chef who is able to show up consistently week after week after week who wins at the game when we're talking about a cooking show. You can be the best chef in the world, and if you only are able to do 2 or 3 episodes, and I got an average cook over here who shows up every week, and at the end of a year, they've published 50 episodes, they're going to win. They've already won. There are so many opportunities available to them with a resume of 50 videos that somebody can watch on their television that is not available to a chef. Those opportunities are not available to a chef who has 2 or 3 videos, or they just have Instagram or whatever. If you're willing to be disciplined and focused on what the task is, which is putting out a video every single week, you will put yourself in a position where you can pick and choose from the best opportunities in the world, because those opportunities are there, but you got to do the work to get there. Looking at really in the kitchen's statement, cooking show, I like to have a guest on, but I need a camera crew to move with us as we cook, but it's difficult because of cost. That's an example of overcomplicating the show. You do not need to have a camera crew. You can have 2 people, You only need one camera. You only need this. That show that you're describing that you can't do because you need a camera crew, I would be able to do that with a phone. Put this phone on a tripod, frame it up, two people. That's more than enough room for two people. It's not like y'all running around the playground. You standing in the kitchen. You don't need camera movement. That's advanced level stuff that you may never need. The camera does not need to move. Not for one person, not for two people. And trying to start there, that's like trying to start riding a bike by popping a wheelie. You got to learn how to just keep your balance and not fall off. You know, wheelies is something for down the road. So I'm pointing this out as an example to everyone of how what I see all the time with the chefs who come to me with these ideas, like you trying to do some advanced level stuff, you can't start there. Look at what you're able to do in the kitchen right now, the level of dishes that you're able to prepare, and then think back to when you first entered the kitchen. You were not able to do then what you're able to do now. And if you tried to start out with these advanced level dishes that you're able to prepare, you would never have gotten anywhere. So just keep it simple, man. One camera, your phone for most people, put it on a tripod. If you want to have a guest, you can have a guest and do a fantastic cooking show and not have any camera movement. Because now when you're talking about camera movement, as they put, now you got to hire a crew, somebody else. So now what have you done? You went from what you could do, put your phone on the tripod and have your show with two people, which you're fully capable of doing, and you turned it into something that you can't do because now you got to hire somebody, which means you got to identify some good people first, and then they're going to cost you money that you may or may not have. And so now it went from something that you can do this weekend to something that, well, how am I ever going to be able to do that? And what I do with my business is just really simplify this stuff. A lot of people don't like to hear it, and it's okay because I'm not here for everybody. What I'm here for is the people who want to make some progress. And so what I do is simplify things for you so that you stop putting roadblocks in front of yourself that's going to keep you from making progress. And that's an example of, wanting to do you have these really advanced ideas when you haven't even implemented the basic version of those ideas yet. So before we do a show with two people and camera movement, let's do a show with one person. Show up 10 times and just do that. And then let's incorporate a guest using the same setup. It's just two people on screen now instead of one. And that camera's not moving. It's just sitting in the same place that it was when it was one person. Building blocks, stepping stones, however you want to look at it. But you can't start out trying to do advanced stuff that you have no experience doing, because it's just, that doesn't work in any field or any discipline. You start with the basics and you build on top of that. Does anybody else want to share what it is you want to accomplish with a cooking show? What is your objective? Why do you want a cooking show? What are you trying to achieve? And for any folks who joined recently, what we're talking about is a full-length cooking show on YouTube, which means you have a full-length cooking show on TV. YouTube is the number one TV streaming platform in U.S. households. So if you've ever had ambitions to be on Top Chef or the Food Network or anything like that, YouTube is a better version of that, because instead of being on some competition show where you're fighting for your life, it's just you. All the camera time is you, and you're delivering whatever it is you want to deliver, speaking on food however you choose to do it, your style, your pace, and just presenting yourself in the best light possible, rather than just throwing some food on a plate and hoping you don't get eliminated so you can make it to the next round. A cooking show on YouTube is a cooking show on TV. That is the opportunity that we're discussing here. What could you do with that? What are you looking to do with that? Why do you want a cooking show? What are you trying to accomplish? Share it in the chat. 1447 wants to use it as a platform for your business. You have a meal prep business. If it adds profitability, adds to my profitability, that's a plus as well. Absolutely, a cooking show will help you with your meal prep business. The more people who it could, basically what we're talking about is marketing. And what we're talking about now is TV marketing, which is a type of marketing that has historically been inaccessible to regular business owners. Like, it's just too expensive to be able to do. Well, now with YouTube being the number one TV streaming platform in US households, if you have a cooking show on YouTube, you have a cooking show on TV. You're able to advertise your business on TV. People are able to see who you are and get to know you. And that's what develops these relationships that make people want to hire you. So it's really just a matter of getting your business in front of more people, which most business owners want to do. And there's no better way for a chef to do that than YouTube. YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world, number 2 most visited website in the world, behind only Google, which owns YouTube. So when people for Home Cooking 1447, people who are searching for meal prep services near them, meal prep companies, where are they going? They're going to YouTube. They more than likely they're going to Google. But you're going to come up, what you have on YouTube is going to come up in Google search results because it's the same company. So yeah, it's definitely going to add to your, it can add to your profitability. There's 3 ways to grow any business: generate more transactions, get more customers rather, increase your prices, or generate more additional transactions with existing customers. So get more customers, raise your prices, or generate additional transactions with existing customers. Those are the only 3 ways to grow any business. What YouTube allows you to do is reach more customers. And by virtue of you having a full length cooking show, this is really separating you from, like, what I was saying earlier, just chefs who are on Instagram versus chefs who are on YouTube with a full length cooking show that people are watching on their TV. That's separating you from those folks in a way that you're going to be able to charge premium prices. So YouTube is going to bring you more clients. YouTube is going to allow you to increase your prices and increase your revenue by having increasing the price that you're charging those clients. And then you will be able to generate additional transactions, because with a meal prep service, if your food is good, they're going to keep ordering it. That's, meal prep's not a one-time thing, except when people are having some life issues or whatever. There's certain scenarios, but typically meal prep is something that people are going to be repeat customers for. So absolutely, you can use a cooking show on YouTube to grow your meal prep business. Let's see. Chef Kanzu. Hope I'm saying that correctly. What did you miss? Well, so what I do is I host these sessions to identify the chefs who are serious about accomplishing something with a cooking show, and then eliminating whatever obstacles are in your way to making some progress on that, because it's really much simpler than what most people make it out to be. A lot of chefs overthink it to the point that they can't get started. So the way I like to start is by having folks share what it is that you're trying to accomplish. What is your objective for a cooking show? Why do you want to do this? And then we start from there, and then start working through any obstacles that you have. Because a cooking show is simply you standing in front of the camera and teaching people how to prepare a recipe. So once we get that going, everything else is possible. But so often folks will try to do so much other stuff that they can't even get started. And what I do is just simplify, eliminate all this other stuff. We're not worried about anything else. Let's just simply stand in front of the camera and teach people how to cook something. So Chef Kanzu, again, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Please share what it is you're trying to accomplish. Same for you, Jocelyn. I see you in here. What are you trying to accomplish with a cooking show? Okay, Chef Kanzu. Been wanting to do this for a while now. You want to make a full circle culinary platform, but you need it to be profitable. No idea how to get started, but excited for this platform to learn. I want to be a travel chef. Excellent. So make it profitable. First, I love it. That's what I do. This ain't no hobby. This is too much work for you for this to not be profitable. My thing is building it as a business, a cooking show as a business from the very beginning. And if you take that approach to it, it will absolutely not only be profitable, it's going to be the most profitable way for you to earn your living as a chef, because food education versus cooking for people is two entirely different economies. And the example that I like to use is with lasagna, just a simple lasagna. If you had to prepare lasagna for 1,000 people, think about what that's going to take. How much is that in ingredients? Where are you going to store these ingredients? How are you going to transport this stuff? How many people do you need to help you prepare and serve these 1,000 portions of lasagna? That's if you're cooking for 1,000 people in the real world and serving them lasagna. Now let's take that same lasagna and you're going to teach people how to do it. So now you're buying ingredients for 1 pan of lasagna. You're going to prepare that recipe on camera. You're going to walk people through it step by step, teach them everything. You're showing them, they're seeing it just like any other cooking show you've ever done. And once you've recorded that video and posted it on YouTube, now you're able to teach 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 1,000,000 people. There's no limit to how many people that video can serve, and it doesn't require any additional time or effort from you. And some of those people who are really going to like your style, they love how you teach, they love your recipes, they're going to want more from you. They're going to want more help. How do I do this? How do I do that? Can you teach me how to make a vegan version of it? Can you, gluten-free or whatever? I don't know. And for those people, you can offer a training program, online cooking classes, basically a membership business model. Do I have that book here? Let me see if I got. Do I have? Nope. I got to find. Where is, this is the book right here. The Automatic Customer. So what I'm describing right now is a subscription model business where people pay you a monthly or annual membership fee to subscribe to a business, a product or a service that you have. So this is the Netflix model, basically. You have the opportunity as a food educator to create a paid membership community where you just think of it as online cooking classes on an ongoing basis. Hopefully this has been up long enough for everybody to see it, the Automatic Customer. And they pay you a monthly membership fee to be able to ask you those questions. How do I modify this dish, or get access to other recipes that you don't post on YouTube? And so you're building a business where you're doing the same amount of work, but your revenue just keeps increasing. Because let's say in your private online training community, you go live once a month or every couple of weeks or once a week or whatever. Whether 10 people join or 1,000 people join, you're only doing it one time. That same live stream, however many people participate, but the amount of work is the same. The revenue is significantly higher, but the amount of work is the same. So that's just one example of how you can use a cooking show to build a food education business, and how the economics of teaching people how to cook are entirely different from the economics of cooking for people. Just that one lasagna dish, for example, the food costs of preparing and serving that dish to 1,000 people in the real world versus the food costs of teaching 1,000 people or an unlimited number of people how to make that dish, two entirely different things. So that's one example, but it really illustrates the point of how simple it is to build a profitable business, a profitable food education business versus a real world food business. The numbers are just completely different. It's still work. It's a lot less work and a lot less investment and a lot less risk, but Yeah, you absolutely can build a profitable business with a cooking show. That's what I teach. That's the only thing that I teach people how to do. Jocelyn wants to be able to teach people and make it your full-time job. Just have to organize yourself and get it started. Already doing a live on TikTok as a starter. Not that consistent because of your job. Getting used to it so that you can now do it for YouTube. You have some followers already on the TikTok platform, and they want you to do a basic baking cookbook. So yeah, Jocelyn, what I recommend for you is, so here, I'm glad you shared that, because here's an example of the difference between TikTok and YouTube. TikTok and Instagram and the other platforms, you got to do a lot of content creation, man. Those platforms are greedy. People are there to scroll. They just, and you got to keep generating content in order for people to have an opportunity to see you while they're scrolling. YouTube, people go to watch a video. They're not scrolling. Nobody goes on YouTube to scroll. People go to YouTube to learn. Everybody's heard the term YouTube University. People go to YouTube to learn how to do something. Their intent is to watch a video and learn how to do something or be entertained, or in best cases, both. So, and the recipe for success on YouTube is one video a week. Hang on a second. There's a truck outside making a lot of noise. Y'all may not hear it because of the mic, but I can hear it, can barely hear myself talking. YouTube requires one video a week. That's the secret to success on YouTube. It's going to take more effort to make that one video, because what we're talking about again is a full-length cooking video. Let me put the graphic on screen for my folks who joined recently. YouTube is the #1 TV streaming platform in U.S. households. What that means is if you have a cooking show on YouTube, you have a cooking show on TV. You can see on this list right here, Netflix is in 5th place. That's how far ahead of Netflix that YouTube is in terms of people watching YouTube on their big screen TV. So that's what we're talking about here. And this is what Instagram does not do for you. This is what TikTok does not do for you. What we're talking about is publishing a full-length cooking video once a week. That's once a week is manageable no matter what your job, because the way I explain folks how to do it is pick one day a month and record 4 to 6 videos. You go through the effort of setting up your camera and your light and whatever else you need to set up in order for you to be able to record that video. Well, don't do just one. Treat it like baking cookies. You would never go through the effort and set up all the ingredients to bake one cookie. You're going to make a whole pan of cookies. Well, when you're going to make a video for YouTube, make more than one. You make this one dish, okay, then you make another one. Make 2 or 3 more. And every dish that you make is a week, because you only have to post on YouTube once a week. So when you think about it that way, one day per month will produce the 50 episodes per year that you need to be successful on YouTube. And if you are really serious about using this cooking show to liberate yourself, free yourself financially, be able to do whatever you want to do in your life and earn your living as a food educator, all you got to do is come up with one day a month to record these videos. And that's how you can make this happen for yourself. So that's an example of why I recommend YouTube for chefs over TikTok and the other platforms, because y'all have superpowers that you don't realize. You have superpowers on the internet that as chefs that you don't realize. Most people, what could they possibly do to make a video that's 10 minutes, 15 minutes long, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that somebody's going to sit there and watch? That's a lot of work. People do it. There are channels where they're going on adventures and doing all this other that. Those are really complicated videos to make. As a chef, you have the ability to put your phone on a tripod in your kitchen and just stand there and do what you normally do: cook and teach. And you can make a video that's 10 minutes long, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It doesn't matter. That's a common question I get. How long should it be? How long is the recipe? If it's a 10-minute recipe, it's a 10-minute video. If it's a 45-minute recipe, it's a 45-minute video. As a chef, you have the ability to simply put a camera on a tripod, stand in your kitchen and do what you do. And you have a video that no matter how long it is, people are going to watch it. And then they're going to come back next week to watch it again and watch it again. Other folks don't have that ability. A lot of people have to play the TikTok game. They have to play the Instagram Reels game because there's nothing they can do other than a short video that people would watch. Whereas you have the ability to make a long form video and people will watch it. As a chef, that's just people love cooking shows. You have the ability to do a cooking show. Most other people you see doing stuff on the internet don't have the ability to produce a television show in the way you can with a cooking show. And it's really just a matter of putting the camera in the kitchen and doing what you're already doing. So this cookbook that you want to create, Jocelyn, I would recommend a digital cookbook, much easier to do than a printed cookbook. And the same plan that I said for Chef Kanzu, that paid membership community where you're charging a monthly fee for access to you and whatever resources you provide. That's where you can publish that cookbook and people will pay you monthly access to it. You can make a lot more money from a digital cookbook than you can from a printed cookbook, because your digital cookbook, you will be offering that in the form of a membership. They're joining your private cooking community where you're teaching people how to cook. So they get access to the recipes. They get access to the community where they can talk amongst themselves and share their, they can make the recipes that you teach and share their version of it. People are going to have variations that they do, and then they're talking amongst themselves and having a good time. And what you're doing is building a safe space on the internet for people to come together, like-minded people to come together and enjoy food, share their experiences with food, share their recipes, talk about different things, build friendships and such. The way social media used to be and what it was supposed to be about, it really isn't anymore. It's just places where angry, unstable people just say the meanest things that they can. You have the ability to create a private space on the internet where people can not have to worry about any of that negativity and just enjoy being around some other folks like themselves. And they will pay you for that. People will absolutely pay you for that experience. Chef Kanzu is a published author and planning on making culinary books as well. Yeah, man. I mean, if you can do the printed book, then if you have experience with that, it's obviously easier than the folks who don't have any experience with it. But when you try printing, when you try producing a digital cookbook and you see how much simpler that is, I'll give you a free example, idea that I give folks. Treat your cooking show, your cookbook rather, your digital cookbook. A simple project you can do is create what I call digital cookbook albums for those who are old enough to have experience buying CDs and tapes, albums, before the pre-streaming era, basically, when you bought an artist's album and it will have 12, 13 songs on it. You can do that now with a digital cookbook. Same concept. You take a dozen recipes that you have in mind and that are related under some kind of theme. You put those 12 recipes together into a digital cookbook and you sell it for $10. And people will absolutely buy it. Think about a seasonal cookbook, a summer cookbook. Think about a fall holiday season themed cookbook. Think about a January weight loss cookbook, whatever. A dozen recipes, sell it for $10. You can make way more money doing that than you could putting 100 recipes in a cookbook and then trying to sell that thing for $35, $40, $50. It's just an entirely different, people will hand you that $10, boom. And it also, you're giving them basically a project that they can complete. They can go through those 12 recipes because they're related under some kind of theme. Remember, this is like an album. It's not just random recipes. You're putting this together under some kind of theme. So these are companion recipes. And you put this out, 12 recipes is achievable. They can go check the box, check, okay, I did this one, I did this one, I did this one. Bam, I completed this cookbook. You're giving them something that's completable as opposed to a cookbook with 100 or 200 or even 50 recipes in it. And then when you put out another one with the next 12 themed recipes, $10 more. How hard does somebody have to think to pay $10? That's what we're talking about here. So you could sell way more. You can generate way more revenue selling $10 digital cookbooks than you will ever be able to do with printed cookbooks. And it doesn't cost anything. The production costs and all of the team and the folks that you have to have involved to produce a cookbook, assuming that you even get approval for it, none of that's required when we're talking about digital cookbooks, man. You can crank out digital cookbooks at your whim, pretty much. And if your recipes are good and people are enjoying what you're doing, every time you put one out, bam, that's instant revenue. That's right, Jocelyn. Holidays are coming. Vegan chefs, talking to you. Every year I have this same conversation with folks, the vegan chefs in particular. You guys have, many of you have taken it upon yourself that you want to educate people about a plant-based diet and the merits of it. And every Thanksgiving I ask, okay, well, what are you doing? Are you offering any kind of education programs? Are you selling a vegan Thanksgiving package? Because I know chefs who can do both. They're vegan and traditional, and they always have a turkey package, Thanksgiving meal package. I'm like, hey, do you have an entree, a vegan entree? No. Why not? You think there's no vegans going to be at that Thanksgiving celebration? More and more people are embracing a plant-based lifestyle every day. And vegan chefs, Thanksgiving is the food holiday of the year. That is your huge opportunity to educate people about food. You can put together that digital cookbook with 12 great vegan entrees and desserts, for example, and plenty of people will buy it because they're hosting and they want everybody who comes to their house to have a good time, including the vegans. And they got to learn how to prepare some dishes that don't have meat. And so that $10 vegan Thanksgiving cookbook that you put out, that's going to make you money every year. And then you can update it next year with another one and people will buy the different versions, and it's just money on top of money. That's something I want to communicate to y'all. There's money out here for you. With a cooking show, there is so much money out here for you and so many different ways to get it, but only after you get started. You got to start standing in front of a camera and cooking, period. Everything that I've talked about today is only possible after you commit to standing in front of a camera and cooking and delivering a video week after week after week. 50 episodes a year is the foundation that everything that I've talked about is built upon. So you got to get started. Let's see. Jocelyn can do both baking and cooking for vegan diets. Yeah. People want this information. They do. And where are they looking for it? They're searching Google and YouTube for recipes. So you put yourself in the number one and the number two search engine in the world. You take your activities over to YouTube and you are now putting yourself where people are searching for the things that you offer, the things that you know how to teach. And yeah, you can absolutely build a business from that. People are doing that all the time. Jocelyn and Chef Kanzu are in my cooking show Accelerator, so y'all can look at the case studies. Jocelyn and Chef Kanzu, the Instagram folks. Again, this is an example of why I tell you go to my YouTube channel to participate in these live streams, because then you'll be able to see everything. But yeah, Jocelyn and Chef Kanzu, make sure you go to the library over here on the left and go to right here in the highlighted hashtags, hashtag case study, and you will see lots of examples of people who are doing exactly what you want to do. So Jocelyn's a baker. There's some, I know I got some using the search box at the top. I know I got a couple of posts in here specifically about bakers, but you can find that stuff. Here's an example. This is what I posted this morning about this private chef who created an opportunity for herself to cook for Tabitha Brown. It's a fantastic story. And then obviously her business blew up after that because Tab shouted her out, told her, everybody go hire her. And this lady is a relatively new business owner. Excuse me. And she started her YouTube channel a year ago, and everything has just skyrocketed for her because that's what's possible with YouTube, for chefs specifically on YouTube. Cooking shows are just a thing that people love. We always have cooking shows. Excuse me. Cooking shows actually predate television. The earliest cooking shows, the first ones were on the radio, and then TV got invented and cooking shows went on the TV, and they've just been a staple of media forever, from radio all the way to present. And as chefs, you guys have the ability to do this. You just have this is what I'm talking about when I say that those superpowers that y'all have. Everybody doesn't have the ability to have the success on social media that you have. You have cooking skills. You can stand in front of a camera and cook and present and teach people. You have it so much easier than, let's say, an accountant, for an example. What kind of show is an accountant going to create every week that somebody's going to watch versus you being a chef? So understand the situation that you're in, the opportunity that you have as a chef, the opportunity that YouTube presents for you to showcase your talents to the world and build a business for yourself where you're doing what you love, and doing it on your own terms, just earning your living, preparing one dish a week in your home kitchen. That's what this is about. That's what you have the opportunity to do. And that's what I'm here to help you do. First things first, you got to start standing in front of a camera and cooking. Period. All right, y'all. I think we've covered enough ground today for my chefs, Jocelyn and Chef Kanzu. Make sure you explore the Cooking Show Accelerator, man. This I created it. This is a resource for you guys. Go through the posts, go through the feed, comment on stuff. Here's a post I did a couple of days ago about a chef who got a Michelin. Well, he's Michelin starred, and he also has a James Beard Foundation award, and his restaurant is facing eviction over unpaid rent. This is an example of a guy who's at the top of the industry. He's among the best chefs in the world at what he does, but the economics of the food industry are such that he's got a problem paying his rent for the restaurant. This is a person who could create a cooking show on YouTube, build a food education business. He can train people individually or in small groups rather, and make a ton of money. The amount of money that this person can make from as a Michelin starred James Beard Award winning chef. The amount of money that this guy could charge as a food educator is crazy. And it doesn't come with any overhead, any monthly rent or equipment and such. But yeah, make sure you explore the Accelerator and just see these different stories. I put all this stuff in here to help you understand what's possible for you and how to do it. Here's a article, a video about a young man who's he teaches meal prep. He doesn't do meal prep. He's not cooking the food for the people. He's developing meal plans for them, and then they cook the food themselves. And he's making $30,000 a month doing that. This is what's possible. The difference between food education and food preparation. He would never be making $30,000 a month doing meal prep. Well, he could, but think about how much work that is. Doing actual meal prep, cooking for people to generate 30 grand a month. Whereas what he's doing, and you watch the video, you'll check it out and see he's living a very leisurely lifestyle, simply teaching people how to eat better and making videos that teach them how to do it. So yeah, you guys got access to this, all of this. Explore it, take advantage of the resources, and when you want more help, let me know. Chef Kanzu, iPhone record. So iPhone record. If you got an iPhone, use that. This is yeah. Let me go back here for a second. This and show you something in the library in the features section. Where is that article? Here we go. This is Chef Lance, guy that I trained. He used his iPhone and made 100 videos in 1 year. He wanted to do 2 a week. He had a full-length video, and then he wanted to do a quick tip video. So he ended up producing 100 cooking show episodes in 1 year. And it didn't even take long before we started in October. Started training him in October. Excuse me. And by January, he had gotten, and that's what you'll see in this video here, he got invited to, excuse me. He got invited to be on the local news as a guest chef. You know how they bring up guest experts on for different things. They brought him on for a food segment, and he did so well that they brought him back because he was experienced at talking to the camera, getting in, delivering your message, and get out, because he'd been doing his own cooking show. So he had on-camera experience, and they love that in the news industry. Somebody who can be great on camera and fit into their TV production, because it's got to be, you got to be on point. They got limited time blocks, and they need somebody who can be professional and present well and deliver the message effectively and stay within those time constraints. And he was able to do that because he had already trained himself on his own cooking show. And so they just kept bringing him back. And now they even promote him they promote his YouTube channel on the show. And when you watch that video that I showed you, that article you will see where at the bottom of the screen, they're putting his YouTube handle, and they're actually talking to him about his cooking show. And he's also a caterer. So just imagine being the local caterer who's on the news all the time. What could that do for your business? And that comes from having that cooking show. He came to me and told me he had been wanting to have a cooking show for 15 years. And I worked with him. We got his show started in 30 days, and the rest is history. He's just off and running and doing all kinds of things that he's wanted to do for so long, because he came to me and I was able to help him get out of his own way. We simplified this, got his show going. We started in October. In January, he was on the news and got that recurring gig. And just, this is how fast things can happen for you when you take action. You got to stop thinking about your cooking show. You got to stop planning it. And you got to simply stand in front of a camera and cook. Oh, and the reason why I brought Chef Lance up is because for Chef Kanzu, he did all of this with his iPhone. 100 episodes in 1 year just with his iPhone, created that TV opportunity for himself, and everything else that's come from that. All of that was done with his iPhone. This is all you need. So, all right, y'all. Stay tuned for another live session. I always recommend that you join them from YouTube versus Instagram, because when I have to put stuff on screen that's going to take up the whole screen, You can't see that on Instagram. So you'll have a better experience on YouTube. But all right, y'all. Most important thing is get started. Put your phone on a tripod and record yourself cooking something and do it today. Is there any reason why you cannot record yourself doing something in your kitchen today? Because you don't have to post this video. I just want you to go through the activity of putting your phone on a tripod, recording yourself doing something, and then reviewing the video, and watch how many questions you have get answered simply by you doing that. And that's what we're talking about here. That is the game. That is what a cooking show is. You putting a camera in your kitchen and doing what you do. So, all right. Y'all take care. Have a great weekend. And I will see you next time.